When you're discussing with a lot of people theology, you have a sense in your background, like in your head, that maybe, there are people who are loyal to God in some sense, that maybe they do know what they're talking about. But the more you interact with them and the more you see what they do, the more you realize they have absolutely very little loyalty to God. They have no way of understanding what the day of judgment is because they don't show that they care for it. It's very sad to see hypocrites coming at me and then trying to label me things and aligning with other hypocrites at certain times just to try to put me down. But then God humiliates them right in front of me. This is one of the biggest reasons why I know I'm on the right track. Because God literally supports me and helps me, and He exposes them to me. So today we have one of these individuals that I did make a video about earlier, but it seems like I got to him, right? And he wanted to make a reply video, but he's still crying for attention. So I'm going to help them. I will help him. He, unfortunately, in his channel, like this hypocrite, he's only got 9 subscribers. Schizoid man, right? Schizoid man here has only 9 subscribers, and he made a video to respond to me. But this this video is just him crying. But and yeah, he does destroy his own position again with his own words. It's amazing. God really, really humiliates them. But I want to show you a little bit about these people. These people are not loyal to God. These people really don't care what God thinks of them, and they are not aware of the day of judgment. Okay, so they like to put people down who are working hard for God. I've been trading everything as much as I can for God. My good friends know how much I've sacrificed in the name of God because I love God so much. I love His verses, and I spend a lot of time with His verses. But then I run by with these people that want to call me kafir and make fun of me and this. But then look at him. Look at him. Like God gave him an opportunity to something that He didn't give the previous generations, for him to preview who he is online. God gave him the ability to open this channel online for him to put videos in to show who he is. So he, in his mentality, he thought that the best way for him to explain who he is by putting a picture of something with 2 horns. I think that's a devil. Yeah, so the devil convinced him that the best way to approach the internet is, from any picture he could put as a preview of who he is, a person of God, instead of putting the name of God, instead of putting a picture of a mosque, he chose to put a picture of a devil. Okay, so this is a quick snapshot, and this is very clear on who he is, right? Nobody who's freeing on the day of judgment, knowing that he's going to come to God. I don't want to come and face God, me decorating myself with shaitan, devil, right? And the devil convinced him to do this. And he said, yeah. And the devil goes, look, man, I'm free of you. I'm free of you. I gave you the idea is to go scare people, right? And put this picture so you could look like thug life, so that you're the big strong man. Okay, Schizoid wants a lot of attention because it is the devil. It is the devil that he's trying to scare his allies. So don't be scared of them and be scared of me. This is chapter 3 of the Quran, which he's supposed to know. So if he's trying to scare us with his devilish horns, or is that him representing what he likes, then it's very clear who he is. But I know he's a Sunni, and I know Sunniism, it's haram to make music, listen to music as well. They come at me a lot. Oh, you're making music, you're going to hell. It's kufr. Hell is for music. Even though King David, Prophet David, their prophet, he made music glorifying God, and I'm following his example. But I'm not allowed to follow the example other than one messenger, one prophet. I have to worship that man according to them. But to take an insight on how hypocrites work, they make fun of my music, which I hope they enjoy, because they had to listen to it at that point. But what's this? Oh, it's a created playlist. This was created by Schizoid himself. What's this? Oh, hip-hop. Oh, who's this? I make hip-hop music. I make rap music. I produce rap music. But I don't listen to Tupac. I don't listen to most of the rap artists. Because this individual here, Tupac Shakur, which is apparently the first song on his playlist, this guy called himself Black Jesus. He called himself the Son of God. Okay. He also said that, God humiliated him, had him shot a few times, put him in jail. And after Tupac was released from jail, he made a song called Blasphemy saying, oh, N-words in Jerusalem are waiting for God to come. She's just taking her time. Is God feminine? So why is he saying that? Why are we listening to Tupac? Is Tupac the mentality that you like? You know, you should fix yourself. Tupac is not somebody a believer would listen to because he's clearly blasphemous. And God humiliated him so much where to a point Tupac wanted to be famous and make money off his music. He's making money off his music and he's not enjoying it. He's not enjoying the fruits of his labor. That's literally what the Quran says. His example, Tupac's example, is the example of the people who had a garden. When they thought they're going to take what they made, stripped away from them. He went in his grave and he didn't enjoy his music. You understand that? And the music made money. Interesting. But this is who this individual who is trying to make fun of me and put me down, a servant from God, right? A servant from God, a servant to God, a servant who loves his Lord a lot. This is who attacks me. These are the Salafi. Are you Salafi or are you Sunni or what are you? Huh? Better not be a devil. But let's see in this playlist. Let's see his loyalty to his Lord, Mr. Skeezo. Guys, make him famous. I will put his please. This guy wants attention. And I hope to God, before the day of judgment, wallahi, I hope to God this man corrects himself. To remove this stupid picture of this slow life individual, okay? This devil, okay? This enemy of mine, enemy of him, right? Instead of promoting him. And maybe remove this, what he calls as haram, all this playlist. But yeah, let's see what's in hip hop. La ilaha illallah, okay guys? There's no deity except the God. Oh, we can't listen to that language. No, he ain't got no schizoid. Do you want to be thug life? Do you want to have sex with your friend's wife? You know, because that life is not good. You shouldn't be doing that. You need to repent if you did. It's a long road. But let's carry on. What's this? Oh, Eminem. Oh, I know Eminem. He has this certain song. Is it on here? Yeah, it's on his playlist. Rap God. Why be a king if you can be a god? That's what Marshall Mathers said. That's what Marshall Mathers will say on the day of judgment in front of God. I was the god of hip hop. I was the god of rap. And what's God going to say to him? Oh, you were a god? Are you going to sing his song as well? Did you put it in your headphones? You listen to it? Did you put it on repeat and you sang the songs with him? Did you witness upon yourself the words of the devil, Schizoid? And then you're going to come to me and bother me when I'm telling people, hey, I like praise God in my music. I'm praising God. You're listening to music, so why can't I make music? Oh, I understand. Hypocrisy at its finest. But let's take a look at the thoughts. Skeezo's thoughts. Right? Skeezo's thoughts. Let's see the first thought that comes to his mind.
I'm willing to die for this. I'm ready to flip and end up in prison the rest of my life for this.
Yep, you're a devil. That's where devils end up. So you could die for this whatever nonsense you're going for, thug life. But unfortunately, I think you just sit on Discord all day and you don't do much. But let's go to this video that he wanted to cry on. Guys, please, he wants attention. Give him the attention. Maybe he will change his way. Okay? Inshallah, he changes his way. Because one thing he did here, which he doesn't realize, you know, he's trying to make fun of me. But he put a thumbnail. Let's see the thumbnail. What's this? Oh, baldy head joined VC. Baldy head joined VC. Baldy head joined VC. So if somebody goes to Mecca and he performs the pilgrimage, right, or Umrah, visitation, and after he done his part, he shaves his head, we should go and be like, hey, baldy head, you did what God said, you shaved your head. Baldy head, you shaved your head. Baldy head. Khizya, humiliation is what you're going through. That's what God does. God humiliates him. God humiliates this. And this is who you are. You put the picture, not the devil. You chose it. So let's see what Mr. Schizoid man, schizophrenic man wants to tell me.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. I'm recording this video essay to just prove or refute Muhammad, aka the Quran's guy who came up to Shamsi.
I'm the Quranist guy that came up to Shamsi, aka also known as. I don't call myself as a Quranist. Okay? To you, you think it's an insult, right? I don't call myself a Quranist, but sure, I am a person who adheres to the Quran. Guess who the first Quranist was? Prophet Muhammad.
And got absolutely humiliated by David Wood, Muhammad Ali.
Oh, you see how the hypocrites work? Apparently, I got humiliated by David Wood, right? So he now, who he knows very well that David Wood He insulted God, he insulted the Prophet, he insulted the Book of God, he insulted everything that we consider holy. Apparently, David Wood's mentality, right, humiliated mine. See who they stand with? Oh, I'll tell you why. It's this. The first time I met David Wood in a debate, it was with Nouriya Khan, an outspoken atheist that insults God, the Messenger, and the books. David Wood is very good friends with apostate prophet. That is who David Wood is. He's an atheist. So this man right here, right, who also doesn't believe in the Day of Judgment, because look at his picture. It's he wants to put a picture of a clown in a clown suit smoking. And smoking is an action that God doesn't like. It's clear that God doesn't like smoking. Why? Because your body, it goes through more harm than benefit. And God told you that He is showing you the signs you might, think. And if he's Salafi and Sunni, if he's Sunni, smoking to them is considered haram. I hope you're not smoking. God does not guide smokers. I'm telling you, I have yet to meet somebody who's smoking cigarettes or smoking smoking argila and seeing him being guided. It doesn't work. I have never seen it. But so David Wood humiliated me apparently. David Wood is his hero right now because he hates believers.
Ali and Seb Shamoni, etc. You know him. And he's a colorful individual. And first of all, I had this misfortune of me meeting him on this stage.
Yeah, it is a misfortune. Do you know why it's a misfortune meeting me? Because you're going to witness on the Day of Judgment when God sent His servant to you on the way you acted. It's such a misfortune for you to meet me. But it could be fortunate for you that you met me so that you could see how you're being humiliated by the word of God, by the servant of God. Ya shaitan. So that maybe you change your way. So maybe you take the stupid picture and replace the opportunity that God gave you and put the name of God. Put your picture. Put a picture of something that is good. I hope you do. Don't be mustakbir.
In Islam server, and as soon as he joined, he came all high and mighty. Whenever I try to make a point, he just interrupts me. If you watch the recording, you understand what I mean. The recording.
As one sign of hypocrites is very rarely they go through with what they say. Okay, sometimes they go through, sometimes they're not. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say he forgot, because they always forget. They forget a lot. They forget what they said 5 minutes ago. So yeah, he has the link for the recording in his description. This is the description, and here's the no, there's no link. And I will put the link for his channel right in my title. I will go through what I said because God likes those that do what they say.
Is in the description.
But God is pushing you, right? God is pushing you on a path where you have more problems on the Day of Judgment than good. Why? Because you chose who you are. You chose who you are. You're a devil. So keep talking theology. Because God says the devil will make you say things about God you don't know. That's what the devil's ordering you to do. And this is what you're going to do. So I'll let you embarrass yourself in front of all my audience.
Description, by the way. So I wrote the ayah in Surah Al-Jum'ah, and ayah number 2, stating that أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين. So basically his own objective to ayah is the kitab and hikmah. They objected to the word kitab. He meant that the kitab doesn't necessarily mean the Quran.
The kitab and the wisdom, when it comes down to the Quran, it does not mean Quran. Nope, it's much bigger than the Quran. In this verse that you're quoting, because the subject is Prophet Muhammad, tell me what's reciting to them his revelations, his verses. وَيَتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِهِ. What is the tilawa and what's the ayat in this context? In this context, and as the subject being Prophet Muhammad. If the subject is Moses, then ayatihi would be Tawrat. If the subject is Isa, then the ayat would be, right, gospel. But here it's Prophet Muhammad, so it's Quran. But the kitab wal hikmah did not change.
I mean, I agree with him to some extent, however.
And this is what happens with these hypocrites and devils who want to talk about theology. Remember, this is his picture. He said, I agree to him to a certain extent. That's all he's going to hear from himself on the Day of Judgment. Because khalas, it's game over. He agrees. He agrees because he understood what I said. That the kitab wal hikmah, al kitab is more than the Quran. The prophets teach you the kitab. That is the job of the prophets.
And you need to consider the context at hand, and you cannot just establish your own conclusion without looking at the context. So his own objection came from the ayah from Surah Al-Imran, ayah 48, which stating that يعلمه الكتاب والحكمة وتوراة الإنجيل.
Okay, very quickly. Well, the reason why I went to this verse, which I told you, I'm telling you about Kitab al-Hikmah, because the context of Kitab al-Hikmah hasn't changed. The subject has changed, which is Jesus. And because it's Jesus, I'm showing you that there's a difference between Injil wal Kitab wal Hikmah. That is the point I was trying to get to you. In Prophet Muhammad, right, the subject has changed. But God has taught Prophet Muhammad al-Kitab wal-Hikmati wal-Quran. That is the point that I'm logically trying to get you to. But you don't get it.
If you read Surah Al-Imran, from 45 all the way to 49, you find out the guy, he literally removed all the verses leading to 48 and the verses after. So basically, he just removed the context. This is a very fallacious way to interpret the Quran. And we will come back to what fallacies that person has committed during that in the encounter. So keep in mind that there is something in the Arabic language is called al-ma'na siyaq. In English, it translated to al-ma'na siyaq. Oh, sorry, not in English. Astaghfirullah to be like. So, in English, it's translated to contextual meaning. Contextual meaning is when a word establishes its own meaning came from a context where it appeared. For here is an example, as you can see in front of you. So, معنى سياقي خضبة, the contextual meaning for خضبة. So, خضبة means the first sentence, خضبة الشجرة في الربيع.
So this is what he's trying to explain. He's saying that the context is changing between those two verses. And I'm saying the context has not changed, but the subject has changed. Okay, the meaning has not changed of Kitab wal Hikmah. That is the point that I'm trying to tell him. He's trying to force me into his interpretation, but his interpretation is flawed. Because the Quran is consistent when it's saying the Kitab wal Hikmah. It's always meant the same thing. Now, when he's giving me this example, so he could understand what I'm saying, so maybe he could change his ways and not say about God things that he does not know. Okay, خضب الشجر في الربيع, right? In our conversation here, it's saying like the trees became green in spring, right? But what I'm saying is God said that the trees became green in spring, and there's another verse where God is saying the trees became green in summer. Okay, that's what I'm saying. The context has changed between Prophet Muhammad and Isa, but the Kitab wal Hikmah to a prophet does not change.
It means أخضر became green. And the second sentence, notice how the context differed when it comes to to that word. Since you understood the contextual meaning, now let us go back to the two ayat. So the person who goes by name Muhammad, is a very devious man. He just cuts off ayat and just his whole line of reasoning is just.
I literally said the whole ayah about Jesus, and he's only saying Kitab al-Hikmah and yatlu alayhim ayatihi. He's not going to address that because he knows what I'm saying. I agree with him for some context, or to some extent.
Whatever the hell I'm smoking, so that.
Unfortunately, it sounds like he's smoking. I don't smoke, so I don't want to smoke what you're smoking, and smoking to me is not something God will accept from anybody.
You have to understand my point. I do not want to delve into your hermeneutical interpretation of the ayat.
He doesn't want to delve into my interpretation of the ayat when I'm literally there because of this. I am not agreeing with your interpretation. I have been guided to something better than what you found your forefathers on. I am seeing more of God's sign. I am feeling more of God's support. I'm having a better life because I am seeing the interpretation that God is allowing me to have. I'm trying to share it with you. So whatever you're trying to force me into as an interpretation, I don't agree with it, and this is why we're trying to have this discussion. But when you're admitting that you're not here to talk about the interpretation, then it was a waste of time. Oh, I know why it's a waste of time. Because God told me to ignore the devil. The devil is exiled. Shaitan rajim. He's just the cursed, exiled devil. Ignore him. I'm trying to help you because you are talking about the Quran, and I know inside you actually care about God. To a certain extent, you're just not loyal to God. So I would like for you to change your ways. Don't be a Quran alone. Don't reject the Hadith, but stick to to the lies you tell people. Stick to it. Fix yourself. Don't make fun of people. Don't sit there and berate people. You're not better than people. Like what's this hypocrisy that you're coming me at? At least I am practicing what I'm preaching.
ayat. Neither I do not throw the context into the trash because number one,
You're gonna throw my context in the trash. You're just literally gonna refute your own self. By the way, Muhammad Ali, you're saying when he demolished me, Muhammad Ali was put in a very awkward situation. Because after he made his video calling me arrogant, and a lot of the comments saying, no, Muhammad, you were the one being arrogant, not me, right? Muhammad Ali was being the arrogant. I was in Mecca praying. My prayer that I explained to him by myself in a corner, and some man and his father came sat next to me. And they prayed a very short prayer, and I prayed my full prayer. I looked to my left after I'm done, it's Muhammad Ali, and he was completely shocked when he saw me. Because God, my Lord, to humiliate you people, he brings them to me so that they could witness on the day of judgment. I am saying what I'm preaching, and it's making sense, and God is proving it. Not me. Muhammad Ali was put right next to me in Mecca, Bil Bayt al-Haram. And I'm not in Mecca, I'm not from Saudi, nor is he from Saudi. He chose to come sit next to me without even realizing it. That's the mercy of my Lord. So Muhammad Ali didn't humiliate me. Muhammad Ali did what you did, be arrogant. But the difference is, Muhammad Ali is much better than you. Muhammad Ali is much better than you. That's why he has the platform for him to at least build something on the day of judgment. But when he comes after believers like me, God will humiliate him.
and you stated in your video that I do not understand the context, even though I told you in the context that you brought it's about Isa alayhi salam. While Surah Al-Jumu'ah is talking about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And funnily enough, the ayah, yani in Surah Al-Imran, ayah number 3, I think. Let me just pull it out. نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق مصدقا لما بين يديه وأنزل التوراة والإنجيل.
Okay, so he's doing exactly what he accused me of. He now went and gave just one verse without carrying on with the verse, right? And then the other thing is here the context has changed. It's not Kitab wal-Hikmah, and it's literally about the book that came down to the Prophet Muhammad, which is still not the Quran in this case. I'm promising you, it's still not the Quran in this case, and I will prove it to you. نزل عليك الكتاب, right? Singular. If you go to chapter 2, right? 2:113, mankind was a single nation. Then God raised the prophets. Is Muhammad the prophet? Yes, he's a prophet, alayhi salawatu wasalam, as missionaries and warners, and revealed to them the book. وَأَنزَلَ مَعْهُمْ الْكِتَابِ, singular. Okay? Every prophet got the kitab, right? In the context of the verse that you're quoting there, it is the kitab that people use to differentiate, which is not just the Quran, because there is more to than the kitab. But God is not going to say in this case, right, that we're going to go to chapter 3, and it's at the beginning of chapter 3, which he cut off. نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق مصدقا لما بين يديه. So the book that was brought down is the truth, confirming what's within the book. Okay? وأنزل التوراة والإنجيل من قبل. He brought the Torah and the Injil from before, right? He's not talking about the Quran in this case. He's talking about guidance. In this point right now, because the prophet is the prophet, the living prophet, he's gonna get what? The 213, Al-Kitab. That's the point I'm trying to explain to you. You don't know what you're saying. And to carry on with the verse, right? To carry on the verse, as the Torah and the Injil was the guidance before for the people, and he revealed the criterion. وَأَنزَلَ الْفُرْقَانِ. Is the Quran al-Furqan? I'm waiting. You're going to say yes. In the case of Prophet Muhammad, al-Furqan is the Kitab, al-Quran. That's where you guys don't know what you're saying. I'm not here to adhere to what your scholars said. I don't agree with your scholars. The Christian scholars failed 60 years to 100 years after Jesus. Your scholars are not proof of that. They're not bulletproof. They're not infallible. They're not messengers. You have the same problems as the Christians. You just come up with nonsense, which is not in the book. So what's the criterion here in this case? Because the context has changed. It's not al-kitab wal-hikmah. And why is the kitab here singular? And why is the kitab here singular when he's talking about multiple prophets? What do you want him to say? Like, I don't understand what's wrong with you.
He has revealed to you, O Prophet, the book of in truth, confirming what came before it, as he revealed the Torah and the Gospel. So, if you look at the word عليك, تمام, the kaf is ضمير المخاطب تقديره أنت. So,
You, which is the prophet. Is the prophet a prophet? Yes. Does the prophets get the book? Yes. The prophet got the book. Thank you. The Quran is truth.
if it's ضمير المخاطب, and the Quran generally refers to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, most of the time it is of like يعني it is of like خطابر. They'd say أن نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق بين يديه وانزل التوراة والإنجيل. So الكتاب is معطوفة بالتوراة والإنجيل. تمام. So basically the kitab here, it means the Quran. There is no other book than the Torah and Injil that is revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
So he's saying there's a conjunction, an and. So he's saying the book and the gospel and the gospel and the gospel and then the Torah. And therefore the book is the Quran, right? But this goes back to literally what I was saying about Jesus. Al-kitab wal-hikmah wal-tawrat wal-injil. So what did Jesus get? Which he's going to try to play around later. But here's the funny part, because he's saying they have to be separate, right? Well, you know, like fruits and a banana. But no, I guess bananas are not fruits. But let's come here. What's this verse in chapter 33, right? And when we took from the prophets their covenants, and from you, وَمِن Nuh, and from Noah, and Abraham, and Moses, and Jesus, the son of Mary. Oh, I get it. So from you, which is Prophet Muhammad, and Noah, and Abraham, and Moses, and Jesus, they are not prophets. Based on his interpretation. This is where they just don't make sense. Like, brother, the way you are explaining things, it does not adhere with what 213 is saying when the book here is singular. Okay? And does not necessitate for them to be separate. Because when God is saying in chapter 3 as well, right? We can find it really quick. We'll find, yep, there it is. ذَلِكَ نَتْلُوهُ عَلَيْكَ مِنَ الْآيَاتِ وَالذِّكْرِ الْحَكِيمِ. This is what we recite to you of the verses and the wise remembrance. Is those completely separate? No, because the verses is more than just the wise remembrance. But part of the verses is the wise remembrance. I gave you all the phones and the Nokia. Is the Nokia not a phone? Please, man. Like, stop making things up.
Is other than the Quran. So basically that goes against his own objection. It makes him go down the drain. So
he put himself down the drain.
So going back to Surah Al-Jum'ah.
To save from this video taking too long, you guys can go watch it. I'm going to link his thing and you could go. He's going to make a point about the wisdom. Yeah, the wisdom is in the Quran. I show him a verse where God is talking about the wisdom in the Quran. Now here's something that I want you to pay attention to, Skeezo. Okay? When God says, those that perform the prayer, and they give from what they have been given. Okay? So this is one form of an ayah that comes often. And there's another form of an ayah that comes, those that perform the prayer and give the zakat. Okay? So those that perform the prayer and give zakat. الَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ. Right? And then in another verse, الَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. Okay, so God is explaining what zakat is. So when God is saying al-kitab wal-hikmah, there's a verse where God says ayatullahi wal-hikmah. So he's explaining to you what the kitab is, when he's saying to his wives in chapter 33 in the Quran, there's ayatullah, which is the things like the, I'm not talking about every verse of the Quran is an ayah, is a sign of God. But when God is talking about what an ayah is a sign of God. The sun moving the way it's moving is a sign of God. The water coming down is a sign of God. The buoyancy of boats, that's a sign of God. Okay? Ayatillah wal hikmah. So the hikmah, don't kill your kids. Oh, how about this one? I'll give you a good hikmah. Don't decorate yourself with the devil, because you are one at that point.